Hi, today you are going to learn about arithmetic sequences. When the difference between successive terms of a sequence is constant, the sequence is called arithmetic. An arithmetic sequence may be defined recursively as a sub 1 equals a sub n minus a sub n minus 1 equals d, or as a sub 1 equals a. A sub n is going to be a sub n minus 1 plus d, where a sub 1 equals a and d are both real numbers. The number a is what we call the first term, and the number d is what we call the common difference, and this is going to be super important for our arithmetic sequence. Okay, so the first example, you need to show that this sequence is arithmetic. List the first term and the common difference. How in the world you're going to show that a sequence is arithmetic? Because they have a common difference. Okay, so look at this one. Let's look at this one. We already have the list, okay, of terms. So what is the difference between 4 and 2? So you are like, okay, so I'm basically subtracting 2. What's the difference between 2 and 0? Again, minus 2. What's the difference between 0 and negative 2? The minus 2. So it's pretty clear that what we call the common difference, or d, is going to be negative 2. Are we okay with that? So for b, what you have, and I'm going to have an extra piece of paper because this one is longer. Okay, so what you have here is that s1, okay, is going to be equal, plug the 1 here, 4 times 1 minus 1 is going to be equal to 3. So s sub 2 is going to be equal to 4 times 2 minus 1, which is going to be equal to 7, and so forth. You have s sub n minus 1 is going to be equal to 4 times n minus 1 minus 1. Okay, so if we solve this, okay, so distribute, so you have 4n minus 4 minus 1. There's 2, we can combine the like terms, so you have 4n minus 5, and you have this equation, that's your s sub n minus 1. N sub n is going to be equal to 4n minus 1. Okay, so clearly you can see that the difference between the 3 and the 7 is what? 4. Now you're going to tell me, oh, what's going to happen with this 2? Well, you clearly can see that 4n, it's the same, but this one is smaller than this one by 4. Okay, so clearly you can see that d is going to be equal to 4. Okay, so that's going to be your common difference, and the first term is 3. So you have s1 equals 3, and d is going to be equal to 4. Are we okay with that? So you have that. Okay, good. So for c, what you have here, so you have d equals 4 and s1 equals 3. Okay, so for this one, what you have, and let's do it here, so you have that c is going to be t equals 1 is going to be equal to 2 minus 3 times 1, okay, which this is going to be 2 minus 3, which is going to be negative 1. Okay, then you know that t2 is going to be equal to 2 minus 3 times 2, which is going to be equal to 2 minus 6, which is going to be negative 4. Dot, 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 dot. T sub n minus 1 is going to be equal to 2 minus 3 times n minus 1. This is going to be equal, distribute, okay, so it's going to be 2 minus 3n plus 3. So when you do this, remember these are like terms. So you have 5 minus 3n. Then t sub n is going to be equal to 2 minus 3n. Okay, so clearly you can see that this negative 3n and negative 3n are the same. So the common difference, this is going to be a 3 and this is going to be a 3. So d is equal to 3. Okay, so d is equal to 3, and my first term is going to be equal to negative 1. Okay. As you know, we call the first term in an arithmetic sequence a, therefore a1 is going to be equal to a. So since this is the definition of an arithmetic sequence defined recursively, we are going to basically develop a general formula. Okay, so we have that a2 is going to be equal to a1 plus d. Okay, we use this one, we plug it here, okay, instead of this one, and then you add the d's because they are like terms, and you have a1 is equal A1 plus 2D is equal to A3. Okay, so for A4, you have that this is going to be A sub 3 plus D. Okay, and then this is going to be equal, what's A sub 3? A sub 3 is all of this, so you just plug it in. If you want to put a parenthesis so you know what's new to that equation, that would be okay. If you don't want to put the parentheses, that's fine too. You know that A1, it doesn't combine with anything, but 2D plus D is going to be 3D. So this is going to be A sub 4. Okay, similarly, what you're going to do here is you do A sub 4 plus D is going to be equal to A sub 5. Therefore, you know that A sub 4 is equal to this, so plug in that one. Okay, so you have, again, these are like terms, so you have that this is going to be equal to A sub 1 plus 4D. And dot, 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 what happens here, you know that this is going to be equal to A sub n minus 1, because that's the number that it's less than 1 less than n, okay, plus D, and this is going to be equal to A1, okay, plus, and you can see that the pattern here, if this is 4, this is 3, so this is going to be n minus 2, okay, because this is n minus 1, this is n minus 2 times D. Okay, so you have all this situation over here, and then you have the plus D that we have here. So what you have here is that these are like terms. Okay, so you have A1, okay, plus, and then n minus 2 plus another one is going to be n minus 1 D, and this is going to be basically the formula that you have for an arithmetic sequence. Okay, so going back here, what we just developed is the formula for a general arithmetic sequence. A sub n is going to be always A sub 1 plus n minus 1 times D, which is the common difference. Please remember something. The first term is A1, the common difference is D, and then the nth term is determined by this. So if I ask you the fifth term, it's pretty easy for you to find the nth term with this situation, with this formula, okay? So if I ask you to find the 24th term of an arithmetic sequence, you don't need to do one by one. Pretty neat, you realize that n is going to be equal to 24, meaning that you have that A sub 24 is going to be equal to A1, which you do have. Okay, this is A1. Okay, so you are like, okay, so what's my common difference? My common difference, apparently, what's your common difference here? What's the difference between negative 3 and 0? 3, 0 and 3, 3, 3 and 6. So you have a common difference, which is 3. Okay. So basically your formula is going to be negative 3, okay, plus n minus 1, what's n? 24, 24 minus 1 times D, which is 3, okay? So this is going to be the formula that you have for this situation, okay? So after this, what happens? You do the operation and you have that this is 66, and that's going to be your answer, okay? Yes? Okay, so for example, what's this? Example 3, they ask you to, the sixth term of an arithmetic sequence is 26, okay? So you have that A sub 6 is 26. They tell you that the 19th term is 78, so you have that A sub 19 is 78. What are you going to do with this piece of information? This piece of information is basically giving you kind of like a system of equations, and that's why we cover systems of equations before. Okay, so you know that 26 with the formula that we have over here, okay, you know that it's going to be equal to what? A1 plus 6 minus 1, because it's n minus 1. What was your n? 6, so n minus 1, okay, times D. Okay, and in the same way, you have that 78 is going to be equal to A1 plus, since it was the 19th term, is 19 minus 1 D. Okay, in other words, what we have here is the following system of equations. 26 is equal to A1 plus 5D. Okay, and then we have that 78 is equal to what? a1 plus 18d. So this is your new system of equations with two variables. So you can just solve it as you wish, okay? With substitution, whatever you want, okay? So I'm going to just do it here in the calculator, okay? I'm going to do calculate, menu, I'm going to algebra, and then I'm going to go and solve the system of equations, okay? I know that this is a system of linear equations with two variables, okay? I just leave it as x and y, okay? So what do you have? You have that 26 is equal to x plus 5y, okay? And then you have that 78 is equal to, what was it? X plus 18y, okay? And then you have your two values, so you have that a1 is going to be 6 and d is going to be 4, okay? Find the first term and the common difference, check mark, done. Are we okay with that? So give a recursive formula for the sequence, okay? So we are going to use the formula that you have over here, okay? So you have two things for a recursive formula. You need to tell me a1, which you know that already that it's 6, and then you need to give me a sub n, which is going to be a sub n is going to be equal to what? A sub n minus 1, and it was plus the common difference. The common difference is 4, so that's it, okay? Now if they ask you what is the nth term of the sequence, you know that the nth term of the sequence is going to be what's going to be the nth term of the sequence here? You know that the nth term is going to be using this one, so you know that a sub n is going to be equal to a1, which was 6, plus n minus 1 times d, which is the common difference, right? Okay, so if you do this, you have that this is going to be 6 plus 4n minus 4, which is going to be equal to 2 plus 4n, and that's going to be your nth term. So a sub n is going to be equal to 2 plus 4n, and that's it.